John McDonald. I'm Eric French. Eric French. I play with the acoustic duo. What was your name?
Joe Cornett.
Oh yeah, we're on that. What are you doing here? He doesn't know. He's met me once before at a jam out in, what was that called, man? Oaky Moss Jams or something out?
Mossberg or something like that?
Mossy Oak, that's it, dude, out in the middle of nowhere. I was like, I'm not from here. I just drive up and I'm like, I gotta take this dang directions out into the middle of the woods, and I pull up and I'm like, is this the place? And I'm like, I'm fixing to get shot at being out here on someone's property. So yeah, I know. I drive up in there and it's like, there's a guy waving me in. He does construction. He's a super cool guy.
Kyle Tracy, I know.
Yeah, Kyle Tracy. Yeah, it was the first time meeting him. So I met Ed out there. Turns out Ed plays too. He's Joplin musicians page on Facebook. He likes to share all our stuff. Super cool part of the community. So I figured there'd be a lot of that here today. So
yeah,
well, more people are just lost.
Possibly they'll filter in.
Yeah, Nicole sends her love.
Yeah, she's playing in the Empire Market.
She is, yeah. We were just there.
I didn't see her, but I saw
Jesse. Yeah, we were just there, and she was coming in as we were leaving. Yeah, I saw them hanging there. I was like, oh, Kayla's been here.
Yeah, I was here just then.
That's cool. So they hadn't seen that yet. Everybody was like, didn't know what flyer I was talking about. I was like, yeah, we're on the first one or the second one over here.
Hey, man, thank you so much for coming.
Sorry I'm late.
No, you're not. We're actually just getting started. We paused for a little while, and we went live on Facebook. We're live right now, actually, guys, but we wanted to do that so that we would have an opportunity to share what we're doing here with more than just those who are able to come. We noticed when we sent out the email that a lot of folks were hit and miss with time and dates and such, so we wanted to find the most vanilla moment we could to bring people in, and then this will be something that we're hoping to do a little more frequently. We weren't sure what to call it, but we wanted to create an opportunity for the songwriting and music community to come learn, first of all, what we're trying to do, what our intentions are, what we've been doing, and also the next time we do this, we might do it somewhere else. We've talked to Palin Music, and they're interested in having us be able to have something like this where we can just meet up and talk about, what's going on in the music community, venues, opportunities to play, anything else to really try to empower our wonderful and really robust group of songwriters we have around here. We have a lot of fantastic songwriters, and I've had the opportunity to play with so many of them, and I'm very excited about it. I love it when we come together and, Cole's a friend now, and we share that. And not only that, we're getting to know each other in ways that I think helps improve the community. So networking is a big part of all of this.
Well, we'll all start collaborating too now. Now we're on each other's songs.
For sure, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely writing to this guy.
That's
Trevor.
I hope so too.
That's one of the plans. We'll talk about our future plans here in a bit, but
you ready to
go ahead
off,
and get things going.
Yeah, here we go, guys.
So welcome. I think we've already said that to most of y'all, but here's kind of what we're talking about today. We'll have some introductions, talk about ourselves and the group as a general, our mission, what we do, some of the upcoming events we already have on the calendar, how you all can get involved if you're not already. I know a few of you are, a few of you aren't. And then the main thing we really want is we want some feedback. We want to know what you guys would like to see and what the general community needs right now and how this could potentially fill some gaps in there. So that's kind of what we're going for. So I'll pass it back over here to Trevor to just kind of introduce himself, and I'll introduce myself as well.
So most of you probably already know my name is Trevor Smith. I throw the
Hi,
C.
Trevor.
Thank you. The C is just so that I'm just not some regular Smith. No offense to Smiths out there. There's a lot of us. I was born in Kansas City originally. What's that?
I'm a Miller.
I was born in Kansas City. I moved down here in '89 in Carthage. I've lived there ever since. I graduated from high school there. I have deep roots in this area, and I love it very much. I've recently moved to Joplin. My life has moved over here, so I spend a lot more time over here. I started playing guitar in 1999, a little late for a lot of folks that I felt at the time. Most people that I was going to school with that played way better than me, and so I felt way behind. And so when I started, I really took to it. I would play for hours and hours a day and just try to get as good as I could so I could start writing songs because I wanted to be a songwriter. I'm self-taught for the most part. I went to college for maybe in total a couple of years. I took 1 semester of a folk guitar class. I got looked at weird every time I tuned my guitar, just because I was different in there. But overall, that's the most music training that I have. Everything else has just been by watching and mimicking other guitar players and seeing what they're doing and picking up their styles. I founded and played in a band called Ebb and Flow from about 2002 to 2012. We played hundreds of shows. We traveled around and played down in Texas and areas around like that. We were mostly an original band. I didn't want to be a cover band. I wanted to just play my own music, so we did that and had a lot of fun. I've written well over 50 songs at this point, which may or may not be a lot, but to me it feels like an accomplishment to have been able to create that much with something that I love so much. And most of them probably will never see a stage, but I'm very proud of that. My most influential artists are Mark Tremonti from Creed. I fell in love with Creed in 1998, and it made me want to play music, so I started playing. And I started learning by reading tablature, even though I didn't know what I was doing. And I just learned from there, and then I found other bands I loved, and then I found ways to take inspiration from them. And songwriting, lyrics and stuff. Eddie Vedder was a big influence on me, Tom York. Dave Matthews, both guitar playing and lyricism is something that I would sit and read their lyrics, and I would carry a dictionary around with me, and I would just try to absorb myself in the craft as much as I could. And I've been a passionate songwriter for a long time, and I took a break for about 10 years, came back, and I wanted to play my music. I don't want to do covers, and so I wanted to create an opportunity to do that, and so that's kind of where this has all come from.
I'm Caleb Miller. I also go by Vagabond Grove as a performer. Most of you maybe know me, but a couple don't. I'm originally from Monette, but I've lived here in Joplin for about 10 years or so. Went to college here and I bought a house and raised my family here. I started playing music very young. My mom was a piano teacher, and so she wanted my brothers and I to learn. She did give us a choice. She said we could learn piano and be happy, or we could learn piano and be miserable. So I did. Started songwriting about at the age of 11 or so, before I was even good enough on any instrument to actually write anything. So it was just melodies and lyrics. I eventually started figuring out the guitar and kind of reteaching myself the piano so I could actually write, and have been doing that ever since. I've been performing more or less professionally since I was probably about 18 years old. This is most of my job now. I perform, I teach, I do this kind of stuff as well. Influences for me, I didn't actually write any down, but I grew up kind of weirdly on a lot of 60s and 70s stuff. My parents were 80s kids, but my brother introduced me to the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and Floyd and all that stuff, and I got into that early rock and roll and fell in love with just really simple folk tunes, and, probably from listening to Bob Dylan, and then more modern artists like Passenger, Noah Kahn, Lumineers, stuff like that. But I also played a lot of jazz growing up, so I included a lot of that stuff. I played in the Missouri Southern Jazz Orchestra and things like that as well. And I have played on probably 4 or 5, 6 maybe, I don't know anymore, of these events. Trevor started these probably about 2 years ago almost, and I played on I think the second one and several others since then. And back in probably October or so, he asked if I'd be interested in joining and kind of making this a little bit bigger than what one person could do. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Songwrights is, and here we go. So here's our mission. I think you were going to do this one.
Okay, yeah. So our mission is to create paid performance opportunities for songwriters. There's plenty of opportunity out there to play and get paid, but we want to create it specifically for songwriting. And we want to weave in storytelling, because we believe that the connection with the audience happens whenever they can relate to you. So a part of this whole thing is really just not just coming and playing a show and playing music, show up, play, and leave. It's come, show up, introduce yourself, introduce your song, tell the story behind it, and then play the song. And then do that over and again throughout the show. So the showcase is, it's a 4-man round robin, and we'll talk a little more about that, where it kind of forces that thing. We want to create, like I said, the connection with live music, art entities, and venues as well. So we want to also take Storyteller Songwrights to venues and have them be excited about having it there, regardless of who is playing the actual show. So when you become a member of this, and the only entry point is a showcase, and just being a part of it and playing shows, you get paid to play every show. The showcase pays right now $50. We're going to work on trying to get more money for these events, and we'll talk more about how we get money for the events later on in the showcase or in this presentation. But we want to have venues be excited about having us there. We want artists to be excited about being a part of something like this, where they can, feel accredited in some way. That's something more than, yeah, I'm on YouTube, yeah, I'm on Spotify. No, I'm a part of this thing that is trying to create a healthy and rich cultural experience in our community. So the trusted brand part of this is really just the Songwrights brand itself. It's like, we want people to be like, oh, Songwrights are going to be here. And, we can have several shows going on at once right now. So we can have someone at a coffee shop playing, someone at a bar playing, someone at here at the public library playing. It doesn't matter. The idea is, like, it creates opportunity for everyone. And whenever that opportunity is available, I'll reach out by email and send out these dates. And if first come, first serve. It's just the way that it is. If you want the date, you let me know, and I'm going to try to get you in there. First come, first serve, and if I can't, I'll let you know, and I'll present you with other opportunities. We want to foster a healthy community that elevates our local music scene. One of the most profound things to me that I have experienced in all of this has been how few of the songwriters and musicians in this area really know each other. I've introduced numerous ones, and not just introduced them, I've met them for the first time myself. Eric I met for the first time out front of Porch Fest. He showed up. He's like, hey man, I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. How do I get involved? I was like, have 5 or 6 songs and you can come do a showcase. He hits me up like a year later. He's like, hey man, I'm ready. Dude, I didn't take you serious. But when you showed up ready to go, I was like, let's do it.
I was so serious.
Dude, I was so excited to have you come play.
This now a year.
Yeah.
In April.
That's wonderful, man.
And we'll
I'm so
be
happy
back
for
in
you guys.
James again with the Songwriting.
You guys are,
Collective.
I enjoy you guys so much. I'm very excited to have you be a part of it, and the fact that it's grown that way. I love the story. We also want to elevate performance songwriting, and a part of that is really just trying to give the space for it to happen where it's, and I don't want to say that judgment is one of those things that I think for me, like, I'm concerned that I'm going to do a bad job. So we want to create an environment where that's less of an issue, where we are in a creative space. There is no wrong, okay? So we want, it's a safe space for people to come play. A lot of the showcases that we do play right now, there's not a ton of people there in the beginning, so you kind of get comfortable with playing. You get comfortable because you're around other people who are experiencing the same thing, right? And then you get a chance to play in a place where it's kind of like curated and made for you to kind of become more comfortable with playing live. So a part of what we want to do is, again, we'll talk about this a little later on, is create opportunities for songwriters to play at any level. Any level, you come play, and we're going to do our best to mentor you and share experience with you and help you grow into becoming a more, what's the word? Not courageous, but confident performer.
Yeah, the word is growth.
I'm cooking over here.
Oh, okay, no worries.
I can move those.
Yeah, we can dump
I
that.
decided to wear black.
Slide in here without it washing.
No.
it.
Yeah, that'll probably help a little bit too.
Yeah, it's starting to come in.
So, I don't see on here, Caleb, do we get into the booking agency stuff? Like what we're not, what we are?
I don't know that
Oh.
I put that in there. But
Okay.
If you want to talk about what we're not, that's
Okay.
very important.
Yeah, I do want to
There's
do
a
that.
few things that we're definitely not.
Yeah, so when I talk to people about this, especially like, I don't know, just folks who kind of get this idea about what I'm doing, I want to say what we're not. Okay, so we are not a booking agency. All right, we are not a band, we're not a label, and we're not a marketing company. All right, we're not anything other than songwriters. He and I right now, and anyone that I refer to as the alumni, people who've played the show, we are just a group of people who are trying to take a little more ownership over opportunity and then give that to other songwriters.
Yeah, we certainly have a few of those elements. We'll helping people book, helping people with the marketing side of things, but we're not trying to sign anybody
Well,
and
okay.
get them on our, you know.
Yeah.
We certainly want you to be part of our collective, but that's not like a contractual obligation of any kind.
No.
Other than we just ask that you play a show every now and again if you want to be part of it.
Yeah.
The group. So, and that's a paid opportunity again. So we're not really asking for anything super, you know, demanding of you.
Some historical details about the Songwrite Collective. Our first showcase was June 1st of 2024. It featured Lauren Fisher, Carl Kexmethy, Clay Hughes, and myself as host. Clay is from Kansas City. He came down to play in that one. I don't know if any of you know who Lauren Fisher is, but she's a phenomenal songwriter and singer in the area. And Carl, I believe that was his first time playing live. He had only been playing for like maybe a couple of years. He'd never played a show before, and he's done 2, if not 3 of our
He
showcases.
was on the last one this last January that I was on, and a couple others as well. So.
We've done 21 showcases. Tonight will be our 22nd. This flyer that you see in front of you is what we're calling a special showcase. Our showcase is generally the first Saturday of every month, but I'm looking to expand, or we are looking to expand the Songwrights opportunities outside of JB's Clubhouse where we have that, and this one is going to be taking place at Zinc Coffee. It's free to attend if anybody wants to come to experience what the showcase is. That is a free show. Our sponsors on that, which we are grateful for, a little sneak peek into what that means. 1201 has basically funded the show, so the money that we will make as artists will be brought to us by our friends at Club 1201. Palin Music will be providing sound. They will come and set up a PA system for us to play through. And then Zinc Coffee is offering the space for free. So we want as many people to come experience this unique live music event as possible. It's important that we spread the word and get people to know, because there are people out there who truly love music for the craft of songwriting and not just, you know, the big sounds, the giant speakers, and the party that comes with a lot of what you would think of like local live music. Like, we want to take music to a level of fine art. We want people to appreciate it as an art form, not just as background, something to shake your booty to. All right, I want that for myself. What's that? I mean, you can still shake it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not that's not our intention. Like, this is not about partying. Albeit there's a time and place for everything, and I have no qualms with that. I will play to those crowds if that's the space that I want to be in. But I want to create this second thing, this other thing. So I just want to list off some of the names of the folks who have played in our event. Eric and Erica French have been in several showcases. Jeffrey Salem, Killer Cole Doris, she's done several of them. Elijah Jones, Drew Baxter, he played last night at a JB's Live. Rick Tracy, Tough Luck Chuck, who couldn't be here, by the way, but he did let us know.
His grandkids, I don't know if he's alive or not.
AJ Roof, aka Cousin Sleepy, Randall Shreve, Conrad Linsmeyer, he's out of Northwest Arkansas. Chase Carlisle has played. Samantha Hunt, James Weaver, Kevin Dunn, Zach Williams, Terry Wayne Conder, Lauren Fisher, Quentin Scott, Max Lemaster, Olivia Wu, Alex Simica, Dahlia Neal, Clay Hughes, Caleb Miller, Matt Long, Carl Kexmethy, and Garrick Fawcett. Those are, I believe, everyone, and we have tonight 3 new folks coming who have never played before, and we're very excited to hear them. So, some of the other things that I think that we miss out on the mission is, it's our intention to connect with other playing opportunities in the area, not just venues, but Porch Fest is something that we're trying to work out opportunities with. Speaking with them on maybe having our own porch, so even if you do come play Porch Fest, then there might be another opportunity to come stop by the Songwriter porch. But we're still working with that, with them on that. Connect to Culture is another one that we want to get in touch with to see if we can bring this to the, help me out here, Hearns? It's not Hearns. Why am I saying Hearns? Thank you. I can't believe, yes, Harry is where I went wrong on that. But I would love to really get this brought to that stage as well. I think that would be great for the arts, the local arts.
Yeah, I mean, one of our big beliefs is that, you know, songwriting, some people are doing right now is just as good as, it can be just as good as Bach, Beethoven, it can be as good as the jazz greats. Just because that stuff's older doesn't mean that it's any kind of better, doesn't mean that it's any, and so we want to really kind of bring this to that level with fine arts. We want to be able to be on stages that are more complex and show that that kind of music is being made now. There's great songwriters out there just right here. So.
I also feel if people would feel compelled to want to come look at photography and paintings, those are arts. And so is songwriting, and it doesn't get the spotlight I feel like it could. How we do that, I'm not exactly sure, other than to just keep bringing it to the people and telling them this is what you're experiencing. This is fine art. This is local art, the same as the painting on the wall.
And here is how we're bringing it to the people. So we have 3 different types of shows that we're currently running. The main one, which we've talked about the most right now, is the showcase. That is our generally monthly, although now it's becoming kind of a bi-monthly thing. We have our first Saturday at JB's, and now this month, the next month, we have a second one. We'll probably try to have a second one most months this year. But this is a 4-songwriter round, so usually we try to have everybody up on stage. You're going to play one song, tell the story behind that, and you're going to move on to the next one. You get to usually perform about 4 to 6 songs in that. Then we have our sessions, which we've only done one of so far. Myself and Trevor, we teamed up with Joplin Improv December now, to do a quick little kind of a showcase before their performance, is more folks kind of interested in what we were doing. But this is going to be a 2-artist song swap, so we still have some variation, but you get to play a little bit more music, and these will be a little bit higher paid as well, because we're splitting it between 4 artists. And then finally we have our Spotlight, which just started, I think, this past August or so, and it is every single week we have somebody at JB's, if it's not a showcase week, who is just doing just themselves or a duo or however it may be set up, where you get to do all your own music all night, tell all your own stories. Yes?
Who's this weekend?
Oh, this is a showcase tonight.
Showcase, yeah.
It's a night's a showcase, and then I know,
Organized.
I don't actually remember who was on the list right now. We could look
Garrett
it up.
Hip, Todd Osborne,
Osborne,
and I can't think of it.
Tonight.
Yeah,
We're going to get to that as well. So these are just kind of what we're working on right now. We have possibly some future stuff that we're looking at as well, but this is our main stuff. Again, most of our stuff happens over JB's because they've been kind enough to fund us basically every week and give us at least a little bit of compensation for that. And then we're obviously working on getting it out to more spaces because we recognize that not every space is for everybody. Certainly a cannabis lounge isn't for everybody, although it's a plus for a lot of us. And so that's where the Zinc comes in. That's where all of these other venues come in. So I think the next part is our upcoming events, if you want to talk about those right now.
Yeah, so tonight, hey, we were trying to remember the names.
Yeah, they're all written right here.
So tonight we have myself hosting, and then 3 new songwrites will come and perform and for the first time experience the showcase. February 21st, which is this flyer in front of you. For most of these showcases, we do not print materials for. The primary reason is, one, the venue has chosen that we market within the venue, not outside of the venue for it. Anything that's outside of that, we will get printed material for, which, by the way, Eagle Eye Printing has been kind enough to support us with a credit of up to $25 for printed materials. So we have that where we're trying to make sure that anything that we're doing, there's offset in the cost. So getting businesses involved with this to support the local arts, that's one of those things I wanted to mention.
Question, why wouldn't the venue want you to promote it?
That venue is a private club, private organization, and they choose not to market in traditional ways.
Yeah, JB's is run as kind of a members-only kind of situation. It's open to the public, but you sort of have to purchase like a day pass kind of situation. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to be
as
a
much as
member
you do
essentially
about
to come there,
that
but
situation, but
they offer like day memberships and monthly memberships if you want to do that. I will post on our own channels for this event personally, but they do not promote anything other than the fact that the event takes place there. So, but with regards to this event, we do have dollars that have been, donated to us so that we will do
Yeah, so
digital
that's
advertising.
for
as
any of
well.
you who are performing on these. That's why you probably will see a lot more advertising for stuff that's outside of JB's. It's not, we're not trying to stiff anybody.
Yeah.
It's just that's the situation with that particular venue. That's what they've asked of us. Other venues are a little bit different. We'll have these posters up. We'll have more posts out. We'll hopefully be able to also pay for some advertising on those. JB's just kind of operates a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And
I
we're
just
very
respect-
thankful for them because they've been funding this for almost 2 years.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, he's well, not he, but the organization itself has funded the vast majority of all this. It's been a proving ground for this whole process.
Yeah.
So very grateful. JB's Clubhouse and the Move community have been a significant contributor to all of this. March 7th, that's another showcase at JB's Clubhouse. Here at events, you'll notice I'm the host the majority of the time. That's just been how it's been because I've been building the events. Caleb has done one, and because we are a collective, I do hope that we'll find other people within it that would be interested in doing hosting duties, which just basically means that you make sure that people know what's going on, you kick off the show, you tell the crowd what's happening. There's very little responsibility involved in it, but it is something that I feel like someone's got to kind of like head the charge on. March 21st at Honey Pops, that's one that we're currently working on right now. Looking for sponsors. No, Honey Pops has sponsored the entire thing. So, as a matter of fact,
We just have a couple little details we need to work out, and we'll officially announce that one.
Yeah.
It's,
I think we've almost got time on that, so I will have that to you soon. And then I'm softly working on one in April as well, hoping I can get book 1201 and create something that's a little more of an elegant affair, if that's possible. Still looking for sponsors on that. So, what do we have next?
So, as far as getting involved, depending on where you're at and what you're interested in doing, we have a few different ways. So if you're a performer, the best way to get involved is on our website itself, which I believe that QR code that's on the posters just takes you straight to the website. That's where our form is. You fill that out. Again, generally speaking, we will accept it and we'll get you on a showcase as soon as we can if you let us know what dates you've got available. And then that's kind of what we do is kind of that JB showcase is sort of our kind of proving grounds we've been calling it. It's sort of like that's where we're pretty accepting as far as anybody coming in, and then these other showcases, especially the spotlight and some of these special showcases, are kind of we want to see what you've got and make sure that you really know what you're doing and you're confident. And that's where some of that, if it's a situation where you're maybe not, then we will hopefully be able to have time to work with you and show you kind of what we're doing. As far as patrons, really just coming out to shows is the main thing we want from our patrons. So again, all of these shows we have available. Some of them for public, some of them a little bit less. So, but it doesn't happen without the support. And then as far as sponsors, if anybody's interested in sponsoring it, we need some of that. We don't have like huge costs right now, but we definitely have a show at least once a month right now that needs essentially paid for. For $250 to $400, somewhere in that vicinity, depending on if we have to run sound and things like that. So if you know of a business or you are a business that wants to sponsor us or even just donate just straight up to help us pay for that kind of stuff, that is really, really helpful. And then also just looking towards myself and Trevor put a lot of work into this, and right now we're doing it mostly out of the kindness of our own hearts. We're doing it because we really like this, and it is a lot of work. You put a lot of work in that I'm probably not even seeing, and so that's hopefully something we're going towards. We'll be able to do a little bit more with this project if we can get some more funding going.
Yeah, so primarily all sweat equity at this moment. My company does essentially sponsor our website. We host it. I'm doing the work on it myself. Some of the goals that we have with that, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we want to create opportunities for local businesses to invest in the songwriting community. So we will present options for them. They can, if they want to pay for this part of it, if it's the performers, then we'll give them that opportunity. If they want to give the space or some other thing, right now the configuration is anyone who wants to contribute can contribute. It just has to make sense toward the show. And then at some point, if we can actually get sponsors to where, like, even their small dollar sponsors, we'll just have a little bucket that we fill up until we get to the point that we have enough to put on a show. And then we'll go find a venue to put it on. We'll pay performers to play it. We'll spend the money we have allocated on promoting it and do what we can to try to drive traffic towards it. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not, certainly dollars are part of what we need, but definitely we've got Palin, for instance, sponsoring us by providing sound. We've got Eagle Eye sponsoring us by providing the materials for us. So we have other needs that aren't simply monetary.
Yeah, the PA system is another thing. Like, we don't have funding for that, and we certainly don't expect anyone to just give it to us. So, you know, we want to create opportunity there for anyone who can provide sound. Palin is a good partner. That guy, Dan, was super excited to help us out. He even wants to have showcases there and songwriting events there, and also like meetups like this that we could have in the music store. He's offered that all to us. So Palin's been really generous to us. And they're looking for more sponsorship opportunity where they could provide more if they could provide more. So I think right now, because we've hit our 20-second showcase, we've got 26 spotlights, we have a lot of history now to where when we go in and ask for things from businesses or ask from anyone to help us, they're very eager to, because we're not just an idea, we are action at this point, and we are bringing the talent wherever we're coming.
These are future plans.
Yeah.
Stuff we're wanting to work on that currently, some of it is in the works, some of it is just kind of ideas right now. We also want to get your thoughts on them as well. So we've been talking about doing some workshops of some kind, which would be kind of similar to this sort of vibe, although we would either bring in other songwriters or potentially do it ourselves, where we just simply talk about both songwriting and specifically storytelling. That's one of those things that I don't know if we harped on quite enough, because certainly there's a lot of great songwriters out here, but our big focus is also that storytelling element. That's something that I actually, prior to even joining this, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, really started to push my own storytelling in songs. It really kind of turned things around for me. I started to get a lot more people come up to me and talk to me about merch, and just like things started to get a lot better. And I realized the storytelling thing really has something going on. So in addition to trying to write really good songs, I've been really trying to focus on how can I also talk about my life, the things that inspired these songs, and I find that really connects people to that. So hopefully we'll work on some workshops that focus on storytelling specifically, as well as some of the songwriting. Some regular meetups that may just be casual, conversational, maybe jam nights, maybe collaborations is kind of the next thing here. We maybe get folks together, because I know there's some folks in here who maybe write but don't sing, or maybe sing but don't play, or whatever that may be. And those are those situations where we can maybe pair some people up that we know kind of sound really good together, or just artists that are already playing and writing stuff, and we just want to maybe write some stuff together. We're talking about some education and coaching, what that would look like specifically. Beyond the workshops themselves, might be situations where somebody wants to perform but is just not confident enough yet, is maybe a new songwriter or a young performer, and that might be a situation where we get kind of a one-on-one or a group setting where we get people together and just maybe walk them through a mock performance, show them kind of what we're looking for and what they can do. In addition, also just the showcase itself is kind of designed to be educational too. We want to have seasoned performers and new performers on the same shows, that way you can like watch and see, okay, this is what they're doing, and this is then what I can kind of add into what I'm going on. And then some website features. Our hope is that anyone who is kind of officially part of our collective, which really is anyone who plays on our shows, is officially part of this collective. If you want to be on our website, we would be doing like basically a page where you can have your bio and your links and all this stuff. We're open to also have a QR code that takes to those pages, so that you can add your Cash App and Venmos and things like that, and continue straight from there, and we can help facilitate that. We'll probably go straight to your own thing. We're not going to try to touch the money if we can help it.
Yeah.
But those would be one of those things. We'd have a page for each artist as well.
That will be something that will be coming sooner rather than later.
I will likely have a few of those up before
Yeah.
the 21st, at least those of us who are playing on there, and then we'll be steadily building that out for anyone who's interested in being a part of that.
Yeah, I just have to get the templates and stuff going. But for this 21st event, I want to have opportunities in place for folks to be able to get some extra compensation beyond. I don't want to touch people's money. Songwrights, Storyteller Songwrights itself, while my goal is to form a nonprofit for this, I don't want to touch money. I want people to get paid in any way they possibly can. I know that I'm going to have to when people start writing me checks for this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, every cent that I can push their way, I want to push your way. I don't want to keep money. This isn't about making money. This is about making money, making opportunities for all of us collectively.
Yeah, again, we're not looking to be a booking agency, so we're not trying to take like a cut of whatever you're getting at that show. That we're paying you a flat fee. We're performers ourselves, so we're getting a little bit of that while we're doing that. But that's not.
So yeah, the artist profiles I think are something that will roll out as soon as possible. It'll be really just something to try to improve your presence online as well. Also take some of the ownership away from these bigger companies like Linktree, who are just farming your data. My company, not farming your data. We'll just have a page there where you can put links to your music, like you said. Payment, which is the priority. One of the priorities for me is to get people out there, but also ease the channel for you to get paid. So if you have Cash App handles, then things like that you can put on that page. But with the nonprofit side of things, the goal is to try to get that this year, and then start applying for bigger opportunities, grants, things of that sort, to bring more songwriting education and coaching into the community. When speaking with Dan at Palin, he mentioned that a lot of his class, I forget, what do? You do lessons, right? So I forget what it's called. Anyway, a lot of these kids are learning that, and they get to a certain level, and then they're like, what's next? And he's like, well, I guess go join a cover band or something, right? And so I want to try to bridge that divide from playing other people's music, not that there's anything wrong with that, to creating your own. And so our hope is to have opportunities like workshops and education and coaching, something in that element to like really enrich our culture around here. There's no reason why we don't have a music scene or stuff coming out of this area that would compete with the Seattle scene, or I feel like Branson is just festering down there with talent. Like, why haven't they had a crazy music scene bust out of there? But any of these cities where we associate music with them, I can envision and dream that can happen in Joplin as well. I think, what was it? It was jazz music was popular here during the 20s, the last 20s, and we have murals dedicated to this stuff. What happened? What happened to that culture? So we'll do our best to try to bring that back.
I have a slight suggestion. I can take it as an idea.
We're right, actually.
So years ago, my friends in Springfield, we did a thing called Songful.
I remember that.
And basically, like, it was started by Dan Fritz. He was the singer for Joplin Public, and there were some other bands that were signed to major labels and stuff like that. They basically created this environment to where you would all show up, and you would bring a song that you had written within the last 30 days. Mm-hmm. And we would all draw numbers, and then that would kind of dictate like when you would play it. And it would range from, like I said, people that have been doing it for years and were signing publishing deals, to people that have never written a song before in their life. And what was cool about it is that the audience bought into it. Everyone was quiet. There was no talking. Everyone was supportive, no matter if it was like I said, someone who could barely. You might not even be able to get through the song. Maybe you forget it halfway through. I did, and it was just a really supportive environment. It usually took place at a house, no PA, nothing like that. And a lot of times that you would just share the guitar that was already there. It kind of came about from the idea of like Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson and these guys that would get together in Nashville, and they would call it a guitar pool. So like they'd play a song, and then whenever they've done, the guy next to him would pull the guitar and play a brand new song. Anyway, I just think if we're talking about like a monthly thing, that might be something to look into.
An event that we could do to.
Yeah, it's just like for, and like, it's, you just play one song, but there might be 10 or 15 people doing it and kind of make a night out of it,
No, I really like that idea. I do, and I recall you invited me to that.
Yeah,
years ago.
It's I tried to do it in Joplin, but I went other places. So, but it's just something to think about. Like it might be a cool, supportive environment. Everyone, like, if you stumbled over a lyric or you couldn't remember something, or a lot of people would start crying in the middle of their song, like, it was just very, very supportive, and it pushed people to, like someone who's like a professional songwriter, like you're expected to write like 3 or 4 songs a week, but people that don't do it that often, it would really push them to hone in and finish a song. And like, you can't bring something that you wrote 15 years ago, like it's got to be fresh, and I think that might be a cool way to encourage people to write and complete something.
I think that would be a great way to do our meetups, actually.
Yeah.
To have that be a part of it.
Because that's what we're talking about, some of these slightly less casual events that aren't truly, performance kind of shows. That would, I think, be a really good way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are people who they didn't even know how to play guitar. But it was just that it was such a supportive environment that it pushed that person to then come the next month and get better and bring something better. And
yeah, because that's something that we're looking for, because with our shows, we do have certain standards, and we want our shows to be really solid. But we also want to be welcoming folks that are new and just figuring it out. So this might be a really good opportunity to have something where it can be a way of getting folks involved, and then having our showcases be still fairly curated, high quality.
that way it doesn't, for me, I feel like that way it would be a lot more inclusive for people that don't feel like, well, I'm not a songwriter, I'm not like, well, yeah, you are. You just
And a lot
have
of times just being on a stage and having lights is like,
Yeah, and that was the other thing. It is pretty intimidating, like, in a way, because like you've been playing in front of thousands of people, and it doesn't yet have this same feeling than if you get in a room with 15 people. It's completely quiet, no PA, no effects, no nothing, just you and an acoustic guitar or piano or something. It can be nerve-wracking, but it's like a good type of nervous, if that makes sense. Like, you're not expected to be an experienced expert performer. So
I like that a lot. I mean, when you really bring down, like, I don't have to do it. It's okay if I make a mistake. I like those environments too. And I mean,
people will be cheering them on, like, and it's just it was a really cool experience.
I agree. I watched several videos of those when you were sharing those with me back. I don't know, it was like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
2006, 2007.
Yeah, that's what
When
it
you
sounded like to
remove
me.
the PA, it forces everybody to listen.
Yeah, it does, and it forces people to kind of learn how to actually sing and project themselves.
Also encourages people to sing along.
Yeah, and that would happen too. And that a lot of times, like, it'd be halfway through the song, people would kind of catch like what the chorus is supposed to be.
There's a
and
chorus.
They would start, and they would start singing along, and then like the next time, maybe after all of the performers would, all the numbers were drawn and everyone had got done performing, then afterward it was like, hey, let's have like a song pool greatest hits type of thing, where it's like, let's have Trevor play his song that everyone loves. And it was a cool thing.
I say that reminds me of, it's a non-music, but it's something that I base it off of. There's the Moth, which is a storytelling organization.
Yeah.
All around the country. They work with NPRs around there. And they do 2 different things. They do what they call a slam, which would be kind of the same idea, where it's the same idea where you kind of draw a number out of a hat, and you don't always get to go, but you're 1 of 10 or whatever, you get to go tell your story. And then there's, I think, a judging kind of aspect up in that. And then if you basically, I think if you win one, you get to also do their, what they call brain slam. It's not quite the same idea, but definitely like having that where we have one that's open for everybody, but then also have that kind of greatest hits where witnessed or experienced.
And I mean, the people that were sort of doing it back then, like my friend Jason Gaylor from Fern, he was like expert videographer and stuff. So they looked pretty slick for back then, but I don't think we would need that. But like maybe videotape the performances, put them on YouTube.
Yeah.
That is something we didn't actually mention, I think, in our future plans. That's something we're hoping to provide to artists as well, is some video and audio services where we can record the performances, and so that, especially for the showcases, which, you know, because I fully understand as a performing musician, going out for $50 isn't always like the best gig, even if you're only playing 4 or 5 songs, but going home with, you know, 2 or 3 or maybe every song recorded to be used for VK or your social media or whatever.
Yeah, here's
it's
a link
huge,
to
because
my.
like I'm one that, like, you know, my wife can't go to every show. We got a baby right now, she can't go to anything. I don't get recordings. I don't get live recordings
Right.
because unless I go up and I've got a friend there and I ask him, hey, would you do this for me? It's very rare. And I know a lot of performers are like that. They're going out and performing by themselves and not necessarily able to get that stuff. It's just kind of,
And what I would hope is it is about the song, but it's also about the experience, about the environment. And if you guys get curious, there is still videos on YouTube. You can search Songpool Springfield. That we had them in Kansas City. We had one in Ireland. We had one in Japan. I mean, they started popping up all over the place, like without us even being there. And because it was like such people got Songpool tattoos. I mean, it was a very transformative moment, I feel like, and I think that we could probably adopt that here.
I agree.
If we had the enthusiasm.
I like it. I think I was a little intimidated to come be a part of that.
I was kind of surprised I wasn't able to, because I was this young kid, you know, and but they, like I said, they were just very supportive. Everyone was really cool about it. They could be assholes too, but in a good way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, criticisms aren't always
We're trying
bad.
to encourage some more criticism too. Especially
Constructive
folks that have done
feedback.
it. Yeah, constructive for sure. But because that's kind of the only way you get better is you learn what it is that you could be doing and you work on it. So,
Does anyone else have any other questions or feedback?
yeah, we just want to know what do you like about this? What drew you here, and then also what do you want to see?
The thing that thrilled me the most about this was the prospect of meeting people like me who maybe can't sing or can't play to get like aren't a one-man band, you know, and like find somebody who is also not a one-man band, looking for somebody to collaborate with, write songs with, play music with, you know, like I feel like, well, like I mean, I'm kind of isolated socially, so like this is more likely for me to meet somebody like that than being in my house. You know what I mean? Like if I come out here, like I'm not expecting that to happen, but I'm looking forward to it, you know, as a possibility. So I'm really looking forward to that,
Yeah.
to collaborating with people.
Networking has, for lack of a better term, been, I think I mentioned earlier, one of the surprising parts of this is the amount of musicians and songwriters that have been introduced for the very first time. You know, there's no lack of opportunity being around these circles that you will have that
Because
availability.
even with just the showcase, you know, I'm the kind of musician, I'm out pretty much every weekend, and so I don't get to see anybody. I don't get to go to shows hardly ever. And if I'm not, I'm either I don't want to go out or I'm broke. I'm like, I don't want to go out anywhere. And so the showcase is one of those like few situations where I get to hang out with some other songwriters, and so that's a really big aspect of this, is trying to find ways of getting us together maybe during times that either aren't normal performance times, like Saturday or whatever, do some weekday stuff, as well as the showcases themselves are just a way of getting 4 songwriters together that sometimes have played together, sometimes have never met each other in their lives. You know, I always had a great experience with that. So
It's community.
yeah, sure.
Anybody else?
I'm going to make a comment about just on you talk about the inspiration, you know, the storytelling aspect of it. I assume it could be anything, but someone like myself, I could pretty much count on one hand the songs I've written. But at least half of the ones I have written just came about because I had a phrase in my mind. It was a word, stupid, I had no idea why it was in my mind. I thought, write something around that, and I did. So can the storytelling be as simple as that? Like, I have no idea why I said this phrase or whatever, and then it reminded me of something else, and then I wrote a song around that? Or are you looking for more of an elaborate story?
There's
We
no
like some
rules.
variation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we've had situations where we've specifically like talked about the songwriting process instead of so much the stories. I've got some songs that are like that where maybe there isn't much of a story behind it, but there's a story behind like how the song came to be, which is kind of fun. I've got some that like I've sat on for like 6 years until I was like, oh, now I know how to do this songwriting. I've also got, for me personally, that's been something I've had to figure out a lot of, because I have a lot of songs that are not based off of one particular story. They might be 3 or 4 or 5 different experiences, but they're more of a kind of amalgamation of how I'm feeling and what I was going through maybe during a period of time. So a lot of times what I have to do is I kind of have to take a step back and go, okay, is there something I can tell about this? Like maybe take one of the particular stories out and maybe expand it to a little bit more that I can talk about. So sometimes I kind of have to go find the story, even though there is one there, and I know that it was based off of something that I went through. It's sometimes hard for me to figure out exactly what that, and that's something I think we're gonna hopefully be able to work with some folks on too.
Yeah.
And maybe even work with some, some others like storytellers and people that do that full time to be able to come in and talk to us.
Like, for instance, he and I worked together, and several months ago, one of us said something, and something came out of my mouth. I have no idea what I meant by it, and he said, "That sounds like a song. We should write it."
Yeah,
and we said we should co-write it, and so I've kind of started working on it a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes I
It's
think you
silly.
got to find the story, and I think sometimes also the story is the songwriting process, and it's like, well, this was just really fun to make, and this is how we made it. So,
And I think also you should just let the song be what it is. Like, don't try to force it. I mean, like, work on it. Try to make it as good as it can be, but don't try to make it something it's not. If it's one verse and a chorus, and that's the end of the song, that's it. Just let it be what it is. Or if you have, record the Edmonds Fitzgerald, then write that. But I mean, don't feel intimidated by the process. Just write and drive around in the car without music playing, windows down, hum to yourself. I always have my voice recorder with me. I always have a notebook with me. I think that's something that everyone who's an aspiring songwriter should just go to Walmart and get one of those cheap, notebooks and just write down all your thoughts and just let yourself explore that and just let it be let it germinate and let it be what it is. There's no formal way. Yeah, phone, slash.
Yeah, always.
Well, it's cool you said that, because this isn't really, I was going to relate this to just a couple of days ago. Like, a couple of my buddies that are in the little band that we fiddle around with and work with, we have just a group chat on Facebook where we'll share, even if it's a couple of chords. One guy is just now learning guitar, and he'll share a little riff that he does, or we'll put out a songwriting challenge, write a silly Halloween song or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to fool around with the guitar, and I thought, I don't want to do anything complicated. I decided to take an old John Lee Hooker song, because he's the king of the one-chord songs, and he just does a boogie-woogie thing, so I just shared it with the guys. It was silly, but it was just a one-chord song, so that's kind of cool. But,
Yeah.
you're not expecting, because to be honest, I don't know a whole lot of chords on the guitar, so.
But yeah,
Learn
just,
a few
like I
things.
said, I think sometimes you can find a story that's there that because I think every song's still based on something, right? And it might not be a really specific story. Sometimes you can find it, and other times, the story just is the song and the writing and coming up with something. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything at all. It's just we had a lot of fun making this song.
Yeah, but right now I'm mixing a song that literally has 11 words. I said what I needed to say, and I kept thinking about that surely that's not it. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I said exactly what I needed to say. That's all that needs to be said. So there you go. And maybe part of the storytelling process is telling people how you arrived at that decision.
Sometimes your story is just also how you started playing music. A lot of times, usually our first usually our first song on the showcase, we don't really do a lot of storytelling. We usually do like an introduction, so we give people a chance to tell their general story. This is how I started playing music. And like sometimes it's just how these songs came about, based on the instruments you played and or the experiences you had or the influences you had. That's sometimes just the story too. So, do you have something?
Oh, I was just thinking a while back you were mentioning techniques about like, you know, singing in the car and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that made me think, there's a tool I use. I don't know how anyone feels about generative AI. It's getting kind of hard to like not, to ignore it. But there's this tool called Suno, which you put your lyrics into it and you put in the description of how the song should sound, and it actually generates a full song for you.
Right.
And when you write your own lyrics, and then a few seconds later you hear it sung, there's something, I don't know, it's like it's a little bit gratifying, and then like you can sing along to it and get better at and practice singing it, and then you're practicing your own song, and then you can get rid of the song and improve it and make it better and work on it and polish it and everything. But like it's a really good way to get like a prototype made, and like just to do a quick rough prototype, and then this is what it could sound like, and then I can make it my own, you know.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I don't think that there's a wrong way to do it. That's not personally the way that I would do it.
No, of course not.
But
It's everyone has their own process.
also, I think sometimes it's kind of like playing on an electronic drum set.
Yeah.
Where you're playing the drums, but they don't. It's like, I guess you go into it thinking like this is how it should sound, like this sounds perfect, and then you can never really reach that.
On a real drum set.
Yeah, that tonality, you know, songwriting, you know, and I feel like for me it's better to create that organically without the help of AI. But I mean, everyone has a different starting, you know, line.
I just thought I'd mention that in case anyone is interested in it. And
yeah, I've seen about that.
a lot of people don't like it, I know, but you know, I just think like it's not all that different from like, to me it's not all that different from like the sound effects that we use in music. You know, like and like when we're mixing and recording and overdubbing and adding reverb and doing all these things like that, it's like we're still using machines all the time for making music, but it's usually the polishing phase.
Right.
You know, we don't usually use it in the early phase. We usually have a song and then we polish it later. But
I think overall, if it pushes you to then create and finish that song and then make it your own, then I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So,
It takes a while to find your voice.
That's what that's the other thing I was thinking. Like I was thinking this place is going to help me find my voice, because like I'm not particularly experienced, and like I couldn't write a song about life on the road because I've never lived on the road as a musician, as a traveling musician. I kind of understand what it's like, you know, to live out of hotels and to be lonely and to be out away from home, and I have those, like I can cognitively understand all that, but I've never lived it. So like I would be lying if I wrote a song about, you know,
Sounds like a
life on the
song.
road.
there you go.
I'd be lying.
What you imagine life would be like on the road?
That's
Exactly.
actually kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Or writing about that you don't have that experience,
Yeah.
and that you feel isolated. I mean, those are all things. I mean, a lot of your best stuff is autobiographical.
Yeah.
You know, so and everyone's got their own story. So I think that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, so it's really funny, you know, it used to be
I
stories
found out
written
this
in-
week that any use of AI whatsoever the whole concept is extremely flammable.
Yeah.
I posted some artwork of some old friends of mine have a band, been around, these guys have been playing forever. Their guy that does the promo did an AI representation, a comic representation of the band, like almost superheroes. I just posted, I didn't give it a thought, put it up there to promote the band. That's what the page is about. Promote the artist. Some guy who never participated before took umbrage to the fact that it was an AI-generated image.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the music the band does. Although he went to great lengths
Yeah.
to say extremely abusive, insulting things about the band who he didn't know, never heard of.
And they're not even the ones who put the image out.
I just shared it. Yeah, he did. The guys in the band didn't even put it out there. I just shared it to promote the band, you know.
Yeah.
But because it was an AI generated image,
When you start
this guy went
using
off the
your
freaking charts.
favoritism and you only promote
I saw
certain
that.
people, are they paying you to promote? Yeah, it was like, dude, what the?
You know,
Yeah, like
this
I
is
was
a cover
kind of-
band. It's
I
not like
understand
related
your
to
issues
this,
with
but
AI, but he was going into some stuff. I was like, no, that's yeah. So as far as that goes, I mean, we don't have like an official stance on that. I mean, it's not really something we like allow, quote unquote. But that's also just because we don't really allow like tracks in our stuff.
the whole,
Yeah,
to
it's
me, where's the
live form
drawing line
performance.
there? I mean, we're sampling stuff all the time to make new music with, right?
There's 12 chords.
Okay, is that not AI? I mean, where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
Organic
I think
AI.
if it feels icky,
The thing is
you know what I
about
mean? I
human-
think you can kind of tell, like, you know.
Yeah, but
thing
how
I- the
that,
thing I
if you
actually
look at
found out
the
is
popular
that-
music out there, it's particularly the stuff that is selling, that people, where there's absolute rivers of money going,
Right.
how much of that does not involve some kind of sampling or digital interplay where, you know, it's not even, but you guys are what, I think most of us here are
You
into
guys
people
do.
that play
Did you
guitar
use AI?
and write songs the old way.
I didn't
you know?
make
Well, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, the
I don't know.
songwriting, the songwriting that Storyteller, or that y'all stand for is, it's
Yeah.
original, it's not written
The
by
big thing is,
AI.
yeah, we're live music primarily.
It's live,
It
yeah.
may not be the
Yeah.
sole focus of what we do, but it's the primary. So what our big thing is, you know,
And that's
we
two
want-
different types of
we want the
songwriting.
music to be
Exactly.
performed live on
But-
stage there. So right now it's mostly just solo and duo artists. You know, we talked about the idea of having bands involved. It's not something we're probably going to do a lot of. But if it
Yeah,
kind
it's
goes
just
that
a
direction-
lot of
But the
changing
big
out
thing is
equipment.
we don't necessarily, unless it's a very special thing, which because we may talk about, you know, working with some rappers or some other folks that can use backing tracks. Maybe, but for the most part, right now, the whole idea is we want it to be performed live there. So whether it's one
Yeah.
person with a guitar and their voice, or it's a piano, or two guitars, or whatever, we just want that to what you're hearing is happening right there. And so that kind of eliminates any having to deal with AI at all, because we just don't deal with tracks at all. So, but yeah, I mean.
I do think that it is, for better or for worse, it's becoming a very integrated part of our society.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
the internet. It's just like
Yeah, it's
the internet.
almost
People
like-
freaked out about the
It's
internet when it
inescapable.
came out. People freaked out about the internet. They thought, and and the majority of people actually just thought it was like a useless toy, you know, because
Yeah.
it couldn't do the things it does now. Like for instance, you couldn't buy things online in 1995 because they didn't have a way of sending credit card information through the internet. So like people never thought it would become a marketplace, but it became like the Mall of America now.
But
It's
I think as far as like what we're trying to do here,
Yeah.
I
I don't think AI is important.
If the AI,
No,
if you feel like you kind of need it to
Just like
get a
sparks.
jump on it, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But as far as like,
Oh, I wouldn't want to like use it as a performance, but it's
Yeah.
more just like it's really just a tool for, you know, a different tool if you're looking for something, if you need something that you're not getting, it's a potential like, and the thing I realized recently is like humans, because of the way AI is programmed, it does things in a lot of sense, a lot of the way humans do. Like if someone gives you a sentence and tells you to write a song out of it, that's kind of the same thing AI does. You probabilistically determine what the most likely words of the song are based on that prompt. You know, like so someone says write a song about a sunny day, then you can write a song about how the warmth of the sun feels on your skin and all that stuff, and it's like we generate information just like AI does, organically. Our brains are like an organic computer.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see your point.
And so it's like that's why it jives kind of like sometimes for some people. For me, it fits because I can see how it's like my mind, and it helps me refine, helps me hear my own voice. And I've never really had that before. I've never had hearing my own thoughts reflected back at me. Really.
I think the way that I would think about it in this context is that if it helps you create your own voice, then it's good. But I wouldn't let it become your voice.
No. The idea is to find what my voice is.
Yeah.
You know, and to like strengthen it. Because I need to get better at singing, and I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to do that, and I think this is an opportunity to do that, right? Because like you don't have to be a professional, perfect singer to
No,
start
you don't have to be
showcase,
professional. I think going through the trenches and doing the parts of where you're developing those things are you're going to get there much faster when you remove the things that are helping you get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to not be great or sound great. Just keep pushing through. When you tell the story, it reminds me of like me trying to learn, right? So when I started, I was learning other people's songs, and what I found is like I was trying to sound like them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't finding who I was, right?
Yeah.
So the moment where that happened was when I said, no more learning other people's songs, I'm only going to write. That's when I began iterating through all of the bad stuff to find the good stuff that I liked about myself and I wanted to empower and build upon. So,
Well, and unfortunately, I think a lot of it just takes time.
it does.
And
Reps. You
experience.
gotta put the reps
And,
in.
You know, whenever I was, Malcolm Gladwell has this kind of the 10,000 hours rule,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like if you do something for 10,000 hours, like you're basically an expert. And I never had thought of that. I didn't really think about it in context of myself until I went back and like went through some of the stuff that I had like and totes of stuff from high school, and there's just notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of lyrics and terrible. But I mean, you know what I mean, like, but just grinding, and for me, it wasn't really about it being a grind. I just wanted to do it,
Yeah.
and do it, and do it, and do it, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's just the same thing with everything. It just unfortunately, if when you're starting from day one, you're not gonna maybe find your voice right then. It might take a while.
It could take a year, 2 years.
It
took me a while.
I'm still trying to find it.
I was in a band for 10 years before I played on my own, and I shared that stuff with someone else because I didn't feel like I was good enough. But I got better when I took away the thing that I was like trying to shortcut, essentially.
Right.
You know, like I was trying to shortcut my way to being able to do this, and taking that away forced me to callous myself and become better at what I was doing. We're talking about the same thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, I like starting out. I have stories. Friends have come back after years, and they're just like, man, last time I saw you, he's like, you were just playing Creed terribly. You know, I started out playing Creed and it was bad. You know, it wasn't good. You know, it was just me chopping up a lot, and those are those memories that they have of me. Whereas now, like I don't even play that stuff anymore. I'm completely removed from all of that. But that's where I started, and I love that about it. You know, I love that I sucked and that other people had to suffer through that. Not that I wanted to put that on them, but they have that memory, and then they come back and they see that you have turned it from, you know, a flaming pile of something into now something that is impressive, not just to them but to you, because really it's all about what you feel. How
And
happy
give
are you
yourself
with what you
some
make?
grace.
Yeah.
You know, like let yourself suck. It's okay. You know?
Yeah, I've done that plenty of. I've done that. I know what that's like.
Yeah, it's a part of learning anything. That's what I mean by the grind. You know, like that's the part that makes or breaks people. If you
I
can't
still
make it
get
through the
stage
grind,
I would like to offer another perspective on it. Being
Okay.
an old, aging boomer, I've watched over a long period of time the emergence of this antagonistic, often dichotomy between people who do original music and who do cover music.
Mhm.
Oh, they're a cover band. Oh, I just play original stuff. Back in the day, when I first got involved, the bands that were out playing, back in the day when there actually was a music culture around here, they played both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The first bands that I worked with, they did mostly, I would say, 2/3 to a third. Covers versus originals, you know? But they were out there trying to make a buck. Back in those days, you could have a gig that was a 5-night gig out on West 7th.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 6 nights a week. 3 nights a week common? Well, that's all changed for all kinds of reasons, you know. Alcohol, the business has always been around. Clubs, basically. With the coming of more restrictive or aggressive cops and all, the clubs have been in a long period of decline. So has the music. Another kind of nail in the coffin to the clubs around here that did use live entertainment were the casinos. Now, yeah, the casinos do have live entertainment. Years ago, when Downstream first opened, I was at what is now Whiskey Dick's. It was Champs back
I
in the
remember
day.
Chance, yeah.
And we played there all the time. I was in there one day when a Budweiser driver was in there delivering, and he tells us how this was like 45 days or so after Downstream opened. He said there'd been like 40 little bars closed in the area. It's just wiping them out, you know.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it there used to be so many places where you could go to the corner pub and play on the weekend, make the same $100 that you're going to get today, you know. But the weird dichotomy to me is it's playing. There's a lot to be learned from learning other people's songs. The best songwriters out there, you probably can't go see them work without them playing at least one cover song. So, for a grain of salt, you know.
Well, it's all about the context too. I mean, if you book a Downstream gig, because I'm playing there on the 12th actually, and it's a cover band, but playing 4 hours of original music is unlikely.
Exactly.
I mean, you might have that much material, but people that go there and are sitting at what is that bar called?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember right now.
Anyway, like, most of them are going to want to hear something that they know. However, if you play like Blackthorn and you show up and you have 12 songs of cover songs.
And a successful night at Blackthorn is if you've got 25 or 30 people there to watch you.
Yeah, exactly. But they're there to see you.
That's right.
They're not there to
Back
see
in
you
the day,
cover Tom Petty.
the clubs would have 200 people,
Yeah.
and the band was playing both. But it's just weird.
You can
know,
still do that, but it's harder with the lack of venues. for
I don't
sure.
think people are as interested in music today, period.
They are if they're in Nashville, but I think place makes the difference.
Yeah, and the guys in Nashville are paying to get the gig.
I was say,
Oh, are
people
they
kind of
really?
have a. I feel like you have to have a certain like accolades for people to like be like to actually want to sit and listen a lot of times. But I will say a couple things about what we were just talking about. One, Sam over here. Yeah, we were just kind of in the discussion part, so we're just talking about. Yeah, one, I probably wrote 200 songs before I felt like it was like decent. Looking back, like I thought they were great at the time. I was 16 years old, writing songs that were really good. And then the other thing was I've pretty much since I started playing solo, I've done almost half and half originals and covers. And I've gone the other way where I've done mostly originals. I've gone the other way where I've done all covers, and I've just had way better experience doing both. And it works really well.
A lot of times people
Because the
will-
venue really wants me to play as many covers as I can. But like honestly, I'm able to tell these stories for people and they connect to the songs, and I get a lot of times more feedback on my original music, even at little bar gigs, than some
Well, I like the
cover
fact
songs.
that you guys are focusing on that for people who are into that. You know, those people are going to be more engaged in music in the first place. People that go to Downstream, you're just another kind of the entertainment that's going on, most
Background
likely.
music.
They're casual musically. They may think that they're musically involved, but their level of interest is not nearly probably going to be as high as somebody who will come to watch what you're doing.
I think 90% of that, you're right. I think you do have, like, we have people that come to downstream to see us.
Yeah.
But that's not the majority of people that are there,
Right.
you know. But I will say also that a lot of times what we've done is, yeah, we're in a cover band. We're playing 4 hours of music, but we'll throw in original music, and people either
That's what we
they're like, hey, I really like that song, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, well, actually, you know, we have an EP, we have an album getting ready to get released next month, and these are the songs that are on it. And a lot
Being
of
able
times,
to
yeah,
play more often makes you better, whatever you're
yeah,
doing.
For sure,
and
yeah.
the vehicle that you can use to play more often and facilitate, you know, you getting gigs are cover songs. But for me, it's always been the end result, or the end game was to do originals, get my voice out there. So
Yeah, and I've had to kind of switch my brain on some of that too, because I was kind of in that boat for at one point in my life where I was like, I don't want to. There was a point where I was like, I'm not going to do covers ever again. Like 2 months, I did only original music. It kind of sucked.
Sometimes that gets forced on you when you get to one of those songs that they keep asking you to play, and you're like, not again.
But I joined up with
No more.
I do with covers. I tell the story. Why is this not one of the songs I chose to cover?
Yeah,
I
so-
tell stories about my cover songs too. That's really interesting too.
I do
But
the same thing.
When I joined up with Zane Grimes to play bass for him, and it was kind of initially was just kind of filling in, having fun playing music, and then I really kind of got into it. And I kind of just look at it as when you play an original show, usually you are the show. People are usually there to see
Yes.
you. Whereas when you play a cover show, you're part of a larger atmosphere. You're part of the food and drinks and the venue, and you're here to make it fun for everybody, not necessarily to be the show. And that's worked. That's helped me with my brain to have a lot more fun doing it. And then when it comes to the live original art like shows, that's where I can, you know, really kind of show off a little bit more and be like, this is what I do, and I've written this specifically for my voice or for my guitar playing style or whatever, as opposed to I'm part of this larger, you know, frivolities, for lack of a better term.
I will say, kind of a funny story. I had just gotten one of my hips replaced, so I was in between hip surgeries, and then had a new baby being born, and I went to Carthage, and my friend Cody Ward was playing with a band there, and at the end of the night, you know, it's kind of a free-for-all or whatever, and Cody's an amazingly talented drummer, but he's also, people don't know this, he's a ridiculous guitar player, and we played, he wanted to play guitar and sing, and he's like, can you play drums? I was like, I think I can, you know, so I got up there and I started playing, and he started playing the intro to Freebird, and we got through like the first verse and chorus, and I looked at him, I was like, are we gonna do this? And we did it. We did the whole song. He knows the entire solo note for note. It was one of the most gratifying.
And they're probably holding up
musical
lighters out there.
Oh, it's ridiculous because, you know, anytime you're, you know, a lot of you guys know, like if you're playing a show and there's a lull in the performance, a lot of people go, yeah, and it's like, okay, but what you can do if you're in that position, you can say, you know what, we will play Freebird, but if you guys can pull together $100,
Yeah. Right.
we've done that before, so it can be fun, it can be gratifying, you know. But yeah, I was in the same camp. I hated playing
I
covers.
used to have a
Probably
bass
why most
player
of us
that
got into music. Like we probably didn't get in because like the first thing you did musically probably wasn't write a song. Like you probably learned something.
Well, that's what I did. But
Okay, maybe you did. Okay. The rest of us probably learned. For me, it was learning out of a piano book, and then later it was, you know, learning covers with my brother. But then, you know, I taught myself piano and kind of like just chords.
I started with tablature, but I got really frustrated trying to learn an entire song. So I would learn like the intro part or a neat part of the solo, and then I just like at some point I just want to play what by ear. I just want to play what sounds good.
That's also how I kind of started songwriting. Because honestly, a lot of my early songs were basically just I rewrote someone else's song. Essentially, I was like, I love this song. I want to write a song like this, and then I just sort of wrote a crappier version of that song. But it showed me it was a way of going, okay, let's see if I could recreate something like this. And eventually, I kind of was able to pick up on those songwriting techniques.
Sometimes they do
Songwriting
deliberately,
and
you know?
combine enough of them that I was creating something that was actually unique. It wasn't just kind of a crappy version of someone else's
Well,
song.
and a lot of times when you learn cover songs, you learn like things that you didn't know before. Like you learn that sometimes the bass and guitar don't have to hit on the kick drum. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like if you listen to AC/DC or something, you're like, I didn't know that's why that song grooves like that. And then you can take that information, and then the next time that you write a song, you can be like, you know what, I kind of want to do the same type of thing. And so, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong inherently with learning
not
other
at all.
people's
I
music.
think
I
it's
just
part
think
of
that
the
the
It's how you
result for me
learn,
has always
man.
been to
One way or
translate that.
another, whether it's from tablature or whatever, it's doing something that you didn't do before.
You're learning.
Yeah.
I mean, a great author doesn't just sit down and write an amazing book.
You have to read books.
He's read a lot of
Yeah,
books.
you get to learn from other material,
I was
and then
gonna
you can
say,
add your
would
voice
that be
to it.
something you all would be
Perform.
interested in doing for some of these meetups, where maybe we have a day where we each bring in a cover song of somebody's and either play the actual song or perform it ourselves, and then we analyze their songs? Because I think one thing we wanted to do was analyze each other's song. I think that's very valuable, but definitely having maybe like, let's bring in a song I really like that let's analyze what that songwriter's doing. Somebody who's doing it on the big time.
Like hear and tell or something.
Huh?
Like hear and tell. Like show and tell, but hear and
Yeah,
tell.
here and tell.
Yeah,
It's
Bring
like
your
book club
song
I
for
and
think
music.
that
talk
would be kind
about
of a cool way. Yeah, we could do kind of a book club for music, where in addition to probably, I think we want to do some stuff where we obviously are working on our own songs, but there's absolutely, I think, some space to just analyze other people's songs.
I think maybe
that aren't in
the artist that comes to my mind that exemplifies what you're trying to do is Lucinda Williams. She will tell you about how the song came about before she does it, briefly, very briefly. Of course, the song is all there; it's self-contained. She doesn't have to do that, but a lot of times it's humorous how it came out too.
Yeah, sometimes you're able to tell, like, because sometimes a song is, like, there's a story behind it, but the song's not a story. You know, that's most of my songs. I don't have a lot of, like, story songs where you could listen from beginning to end and know what happened.
It doesn't have to be the Edmund Fitzgerald, you know.
Or there's or sometimes there's an additional, like, you know, there's a humorous anecdote from the recording process or from the writing or whatever that wouldn't be in the song, because there's no reason for it to be in the song, but you can tell that as a way that brings people in and really kind of gears them to what you're doing. So.
humanizes it. I've certainly heard that with Dave Grohl is someone that comes to mind. I saw him tell the story of Everlong long after I'd heard it, and just hearing him tell the story of the song made me enjoy the song again as if I was hearing it for the first time, and that inspired me even more so to want to do more of this. I think, you know, it made me connect with the song. I heard it hundreds of times. You know, it's 20 years past its publishing date, yet it impacted me in a brand new way. And so that's helped me for this.
I'll tell you what, playing that thing on the drums is a bitch.
Oh, I
can imagine.
Does anyone else have any questions or feedback for us? Any ideas? Anything you think that you might like for the songwriting community? Anything more we could provide? I mean, I will say that we are a slow-moving vessel, but we are persistent and consistent.
Or even any like problems that are going on in the music scene that you think this could fill. I mean, we're not trying to patch up the ship or anything like that, but we want to.
When you do your showcases,
invigorate
how
our-
long a set does each performer do?
They happen simultaneously. We play in a round, so it's one songwriter, the next.
Well, so you're like everybody's on stage at the same time?
Generally speaking, yeah. We've
Yeah.
done some where we kind of have you come up on stage and then you walk off stage and you come back up, but we're probably going to
Do you
that
do
out.
like
trying to.
2 sets or something, or
No, it's just 5 to 6 rounds each person plays.
so 5 or 6 songs?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so
a
you're
part of
supposed to get
that-
that amount, but you're there for the full like hour and a half
Yeah.
or whatever it ends up being.
One of the things that I have found about that I love is the fact that it almost forces fans of one artist to experience the other ones.
Yes, that's
I've
good.
played
So
a
you
lot
get
of
in those
shows.
regular bill shows where they're like, "What time are you going on?" And I'll just tell them the show starts
Yeah.
at 7.
Yeah.
Like you can show up for the show, or you can just not.
Yeah.
I really like that because when going to open mics, typically the person plays three songs in a
Yeah.
row, and like 10 artists later, I'll not even remember what the first guy did in his songs.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you mix it up like that, then you're getting to hear everyone fresh almost.
And you get that same issue where you have somebody who brought like 12 people out and then they all just leave, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
Well,
glad I got
the
to
other
play for nobody, you know.
artists sit there quietly while one guy plays, or do they participate?
No, generally everyone's just kind of quiet. You sit in the back, you turn your guitar down, and you patiently wait. At first, when I first did the first one, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I thought it was profound to stand next to someone while
It could
they
be
play.
kind of tedious sitting up there all the time for your song to come around.
It's weird, but you kind of just have to get over it. That's
part of your
but,
performance. I
You're
think.
part of the show.
Yeah, what we found is we've done it both ways, and it just kind of looks nicer when everyone's up there. Additionally, what we
It's
end
more
up
communal.
is what we want to do is have everybody have their own microphone. That doesn't always happen. JB, we're at the mercy of whoever's providing the sound, so JB doesn't always have everything we need, and we're talking to Palin about what we need for this next one. But that also does encourage like conversation too. So what we'll often have is somebody finishes their song, and then we may have a brief exchange where someone says, "Hey, I really liked that," and we get a little bit more.
Organic
I've gone to some
interaction.
Get some
little
camaraderie.
jams where people basically do this. They take the turn and everybody does a song. Sometimes it's weird the expectations the people have or don't have. I found that because of varying levels of ability to participate, it's nice to at least in those situations say, okay, this one goes like this. You know, the chorus is whatever, and here the verse goes like this. Okay, and then we'll take off, and it gives the people who don't have the same amount of experience a little bit more of a chance to hang on and participate. You know, and it's more fun for everybody if you can do that. You know,
Agreed.
that's a different situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like I said, right now it's fairly, you play your song, the next person plays their song, but we do want to have more of that jam stuff. It may not happen during the shows necessarily, the showcases, but definitely during, like, if we're going to do meetups and collaborations, that's what I'd love to do some rounds. Where
Maybe a
we-
grand finale.
That too. That would be a great way. We're also
Last
just
round
talking
jam.
about different ways of doing this show because obviously what'd you say we're at 20.
Tonight will be the 22nd.
22nd showcases where we've been pretty much doing them the same way. So we're hoping to do some other stuff down the road too, where potentially having like a young artist showcase. Maybe you've never performed, maybe you're for students who are just trying to figure it out. Maybe we talked about maybe potentially allowing tracks for a rap show or something like that, or we were talking about just some different options. So if anybody has some thoughts like that, we could make it every now and again do something a little bit special, a little bit different in our standard setup.
So if somebody wanted to participate on one of those, they probably need to have at least a half a dozen songs that they could.
5 to 6 is
Yeah.
in
Six
the
is kind of
general.
I've done it where we only do 4, but
Yeah.
we usually want to have 6 ready just in case we get time, because if there's the storytelling side of it's shorter, because some people don't have as long of a story to tell before the next thing we get a few more songs in.
And the vast majority of people play original songs. It's not totally original music.
Oh,
do a
really?
few
Yeah,
covers,
you can do
we'll-
some covers. We just ask that you tell the story because it is a part of the show. Is to like, why did you pick this song? Why are you playing this song? Those sorts of things. So I know James Weaver, the first time he played, I think he had 2 songs. The rest of them were cover songs. But he told the story of why the song was important to him and what it meant to him. And again, that helps the audience connect with you and the song that they're getting ready to hear. That's the storytelling side. I don't talk about it nearly as much as I probably should, but it is an important part of the presentation to the audience because it is really it's the connecting device.
And a lot of times that's the most nervous part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because you don't have the guitar
Yeah, just talk.
to hide behind. Yeah.
Mhm. I get that, and like getting people out and talking, public speaking, another part of the things that we want to try to workshop and provide people chance to get comfortable speaking in public. I am not a public speaker.
You're not doing a bad job.
Well, thank you. But like, it's just like, it's one of those things, like, it's not going to stop me. I want to do what I want to do. It might be something that scares me, but I'm going to get used to it. I went to a Toastmasters thing one time. Is anybody familiar with Toastmasters in here? No? Okay, so they are like a private organization. They meet weekly, and they just give speeches. People go around, do speeches. You get feedback on your speeches. You have something that you speak about. It could be you, could be something else. It's just about getting more comfortable with public speaking. I went to one, by the way, and I act like I've gone to so many. But anyway, the notion that I took from it when I walked away was it's just reps, man. You got to get practice. You got to be willing to critique yourself and just get better at it. Public speaking scares a lot of people. Being on stage scares a lot of people. I still get nervous going and playing shows. It does not change. What changes is my level of courage. I'm willing to put myself out there, and within seconds it goes away. Within seconds it's over with. As soon as I start playing, within the first few strums of the guitar, I ain't nervous anymore. I just play. And while I'm talking, yeah, I might say so, and stuff like that, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to just accept that I'm imperfect, and if that's an issue for anyone in the audience, I'm okay with that. I'm just going to keep doing my thing and get better at it. And I want to provide stage for everyone else to do the same.
Guys, it's great.
Thank you so much, man. Is today your birthday, by the way?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
That's what I thought.
So I gotta
Happy
get-
birthday, man.
I gotta get home to my babies and try to hang out with them at the creek, maybe. So,
It's a nice day to do that. Thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate you, man.
Trevor.
Thank you. Well, I think we're running out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation. Thank you for anyone who hung out with us.
This is kind of where you can find us, though, too, if you haven't.